Hello there again, YouTube world. It's your girl Dana Monet, and I'm here once again to recap season 15 of American Idol. And it is the final season of American Idol, but the very first time that I will be recapping Idol. So, yes, I waited 15 seasons to do this. Although I'm sad that the American Idol reign is coming to an end, a lot of people are happy about that, but I'm sad. I'm happy that I'm going to be recapping it, and I'm really excited. So just going to give you a brief overview of how the recaps are going to go for the auditions. I'm going to briefly kind of talk about the judges and how I think the auditions went, and discuss my top 3 overall faves. Combination of both nights, golden tickets that I revoke, at least 3 golden tickets that I revoke, some honorable mentions, and I am going to discuss the shortened Idol schedule briefly. And I do just want to point out that unlike other seasons, I have not looked at any spoilers, so I don't know anything about who's in the top 24. So please, if you come on to the channel or you want to comment on this video, please, no spoilers. I don't want to know anything that's going to be happening. I want to be, I want it to be a clean palette, because I want to kind of try to be able to guess who's going to be in the top 24. So without any further ado, let's get into it. There was a little show that came on before American Idol started, and it was just like, an overview of American Idol, and it kind of focused on the first, season, and, where it's come from then, and how different Ryan Seacrest looked, and how kind of cheap the set was, and how it just looked like, it was in somebody's basement and they put a stage there. So my has American Idol evolved since then. So that was a nice little show that they had on to kick it off. What I do have to say is that the first night of the auditions, the season premiere, was kind of underwhelming to me. It wasn't really that exciting. The second night, though, was on point with amazing singers. There were a couple of people from night 1 that I enjoyed, but night 2 had the better singers, and they did the same thing last season. The premiere didn't have as many great singers, and then the next night it was the great singers. And why don't you just lead with your best? I don't know why they don't do that. So without any further ado, I'm gonna get into my favorites. My favorites from night 1 were Michelle Marie. She was actually the very first audition. Lindita, Sonica, and my girl Shelby Z from The Voice. Those were my favorites from night 1. And Michelle Marie, she sang blues. She was a young girl. She was 15, pop country. She was very energetic. She knew all the 14 winners of Idol, as do I, which is, I could say it like very easily. It's not that hard. But I think that she had a very pretty voice. It was in tune. I think she had a nice transition between the chest and falsetto on the blues. It was like, blue. Actually, I think it was actually better than that, what she did. She didn't look like how she sang. She didn't sound like a 15-year-old. She sounded kind of seasoned. So I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this was going to be like a hyper little girl with an annoying voice, but I liked her. I think she did a really good job. The next person I liked from night 1 was Lindita, and she was from Kosovo, and she lost like 150 pounds, and I liked her accent, and she sang "It's a man's world," and I felt like she had a nice, strong, powerful voice, a lot of horsepower in that, and she had this long note and this run, and she was like, ah, or whatever she did. I don't even know what she did, but I was like, girlfriend committed. And I'm like, if you're gonna sing the runs, if you're gonna go all crazy, just go for it. And I think that that's important. I don't have any problems with people singing runs as long as they get it right. So that's like me. And then J-Lo said that she sang like a big girl. Well, she used to be a big girl, but then I'm like, well, skinny girls can sing like that too. I mean, I don't like it when people make it seem like only big girls can sing. Like, was Whitney Houston a big girl ever? Like, I'm just saying. And Aretha Franklin didn't start out as a big girl. Okay? Like, I mean, there are plenty of singers, like, I'm not stick skinny, but I think that I can sing. I mean, I'm not 300 pounds or nothing like that. So, I feel like that's a big misconception. And J-Lo, she need to be checked for that. But we'll talk more about what J-Lo needs to be checked for a little later. The next person that I liked was Sonica. And she was Indian. I really liked her voice and her tone. She was had a very, very pretty voice. She sounded a tad nervous, but I really did like her. And I kind of thought the same thing that Harry said when he thought that, she was the first person that, kind of walked in that I thought could win. And not that she had the best voice, but she has that, like, whole American Idol thing. She has that American Idol thing. Pretty girl, pretty voice, can kind of weave in and out of probably different genres and, sound good doing things. So I could see it happening if a girl were to win. I don't particularly like it when they do that, though. But that was Sonica. And then the last person that I liked on night one was Shelby Z from The Voice. And I saw Shelby, I was like, oh, I recognize her. So for those of you who don't know, she was on season 5 of The Voice, the season where Tessanne Chin won. And I believe she went home in the knockout rounds. And then she sang Last Name by Carrie Underwood, which is also the song that she sang in the knockout rounds on The Voice. Actually, no, she went home on the live playoffs of The Voice. And I really liked her. She had a lot of sass and a lot of power to her voice. And she maybe had even more power in her voice than what I remember. Still got the personality. We know from the recaps that I did of The Voice that country is not my favorite genre of music. However, I've always liked her because she can just sing. I just love somebody who can sing. It doesn't matter what genre it is. So, good for Shelby Z. So there were 4 singers on night 1 that I liked. A lot more came from night 2, and that's also the night where they hyped up the whole Kimye thing with Kanye coming in to audition, which I thought was really corny. First of all, we knew this was going to happen like 3 or 4 months ago. So that's number one. They kept on teasing it each and every commercial break, So what really would have been interesting is that if they never teased it and they kept it a secret, and maybe like in every city there was a celebrity that fake audition, maybe that would be interesting. But at the same time, I was singing along to Gold Digger, so I guess they got me. So in total, there were 14 golden ticket recipients on night 1. So that's a pretty good percentage. I wasn't crazy about night 1 though, but my favorites were all women. So, on night 2, I had a lot more favorites, so bear with me. First, La Portia. First of all, girl, well, actually, I can't really blame her. It's her mom. But, I mean, us black folk in these names, La Portia. Before I found out what her baby's name was, I was like, is her baby's name La Mercedes? Like, come on. It can't just be Portia. It has to be La Portia because we love to put that La, and I got a whole bunch of cousins that got a La in front of their name. My name is not La Dana, but it could have very well been La Dana, but it's not. It's just Dana. However, she does have the cutest baby ever next to my baby. Not quite cuter than my baby, but that baby girl was a doll. She was so cute. And she sang Creep by Radiohead, and she can sing. And she had a huge afro, which I liked. It was probably a wig, but it doesn't matter. I liked it. She reminded me of when Kimberly Nicole sang that on The Voice, and I reference The Voice and X Factor and previous seasons Idol and The Voice all the time, so be prepared for it. And it was a run that she did on the note run that was pretty much identical to what Kimberly Nicole did. It was like, she run, or something like that. I don't even think I sang that in tune because I just tried to bust it out. But her runs were like out of this world. Um, and, Harry pointed out you're like assassin with the runs. And I agree. She nailed every single one. And, you got a taste of her lower register, which I love. She knew when to get gruff and when to be soft. And, she's just, she pretty much killed it. She probably won't even make it to the top 24 because the kind of heavy set black women who can sing are always like put out by, this indie white girl or a country girl. So that's usually how it works out. Hopefully she makes it to the top 24 again. No spoilers, but I think that with a voice like that, she needs to be there. We need to stop thinking about who would typically win American Idol and just be like, just put through the people that can sing and that pass each round with flying colors. And if they can't measure up, let them go. Is that so hard? Moving right along to my other favorite of the night, Trent, who was a good old country boy from the country of East Mississippi. And he had a farm and they had a restaurant on the farm. But he can sing. And he ain't sing country. He was like pop, soul, R&B. And he was singing an Alan Stone song called Unaware. And I've heard a couple people sing Alan Stone on the reality singing competitions, on Idol particularly. And I finally decided to look up this Alan Stone dude. So nice singer, but I think that he did a great job. It was kind of bothering me how baffled J-Lo was. Like, I wish she would just shut up. Like, I wish it was just more of like a speechless thing. Like I'm just so surprised, like in her mind saying that though, in her mind. And then after he sang, be like, oh my God, I was so, like, just while he was singing, it was like a tad bit annoying. But the vocal inflections that he did and the little runs, it was like really little subtle things that he did that were like so on point. And I was like, yes, sir, get him. Yes. So I already know he's probably making the top 24. But I don't have a problem with that because he killed it. So my other favorite was Melanie Tierce. And I actually don't remember what she sang. However, this is the girl that was singing, and then Harry had to step away. Harry was doing a lot of interrupting people's performances, and it was really irritating. But I really did love her voice. She had a lot of passion in her performance. I really did like her tone. She had this cry in her voice. I like the song. Again, I forget what the song is called, so if you remember, please put it in the comments. I had never heard it before. Harry made a best audition statement. She wasn't the best audition, but she was a pretty good audition. I really enjoyed listening to her. I also liked Kirsty Joel, and this is the girl whose parents were obsessed with Idol, and they were big fans, been watching it since its inception, and recorded it on VHS. I recorded it on VHS, but I digress. And Lita Wise talked to them and everything like that. And they were like, oh my gosh, it's Lita Wise. I think she probably would have been more excited if it was Kelly Clarkson, but we'll take Lita Wise. We'll take him. She sang Mama Knows Best, and I'm about sick of people singing this song as an audition song. It is a really good song to audition with, though. But she did start in a very high key. I think she started it higher than Jessie J sings it, but she committed to it. And I read on some blogs that she was pitchy or whatever. I don't know. I don't think that she was, but and I've listened to it more than once, and I didn't think that she was, but if she was, whatever. But I just think that she went for it, and I really, I didn't think that she missed a beat, and the song is really difficult to sing, and I like a nice, good, powerful voice because you can always pull somebody back. And I did like the scat at the end. It was a nice little touch. And the last contestant of the night was also one of my favorites, Tristan McIntosh. Of course, they always like to hype up the last contestant as the best, and I would rather them, let us decide. But she wasn't the best contestant of the night, but she definitely had the most gut-wrenching sob story, I guess. But it didn't bring tears to my eyes because it was so obvious that they were going to bring her mom out, and because she kept on talking about, my mom's not here because she's overseas in the military. And then, of course, mom shows up after the performance. So pretty typical. But I did think that she had a really nice voice. And I liked her subtlety with the song. And I think that she had a very pure voice, and she had a lot of emotion, and I liked her interpretation of the song. Again, it was another song I didn't know. Again, I didn't put down the name of the song, and I apologize for that. But I think that she did a very, very great job. And, J-Lo had to advertise, I'm really good friends with Alicia Keys, and you remind me of Alicia Keys. I mean, she didn't really remind me of Alicia Keys. I don't know, maybe because she's mixed. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't really think that she sounds like Alicia Keys. Maybe I'd have to hear her sing an Alicia Keys song for me to feel like that. But I think that she did a really great job. So out of those people that I mentioned that were my favorites between both of the nights, if I had to pick just 3 favorites between both of the nights, it would probably be Trent, LaPortia, and Tristan. And it was pretty hard for me to choose 3, but those were the 3 that I chose. I did want to shout out some honorable mentions that I thought were really good. And just so you know, all the honorable mentions are from night 2. Olivia, who is the Jax lookalike, but she sings better than Jax. She sang Bruno Mars, When I Was Your Man. She slowed it down quite a bit on an already really slow song, but I really did like her voice, and she had some nice choices. And it was the pink hair, I think, with her. The judges, she had a guitar, but she ended up going in there and playing the piano, and J-Lo was like, no, I don't need to hear anything else. And I kind of sort of wanted to hear her play something on the guitar, especially since she was ready. She was like, what? You know what I mean? I don't think her voice was as unique as Keith said. I mean, I've heard a lot of voices like hers, but I thought she did a really good job. There was a girl that they showed during the montage, Jessica. She sang Come Together. And it was a real quick snippet, but I did like the R&B flair she brought to the song. But they really didn't show like enough of her audition, but they showed enough to where I liked her. Maylee Delgado, who was Miss Alaska and the radio DJ, she sang Gretchen Wilson Chariot, and I really liked her voice. She had this like nice, like strong, husky, like powerful tone to her voice. And then she kind of messed it up when she started rapping. So, that kind of ruined it a little bit. And then when she would go back to the singing, I'd be like, oh, so I hope the judges and vocal coaches and mentors deter her from throwing raps into songs, because it was really like not necessary. I mean, Gretchen Wilson is a country singer, for goodness sakes. Like, why did we need to rap? You were already interesting enough with being Miss Alaska, your radio DJ, and Ryan Seacrest's radio show comes on after yours. You're already energetic. Like, we didn't need to add the rap part in there to give you more personality. That wasn't necessary. But I did like her voice. And that was it of the honorable mentions. And all of my favorites in total were all females, except for Trent. So hey. I did want to say a couple of golden tickets that I'd actually revoke. Carrie Courtney. I think he was the guy. Yeah, he was the guy that had the crazy eyes, and J-Lo was kind of scared by him, and he kind of scared me too. And he scared me right into wanting them to say a no. And like, I've watched a lot of ID channel. So like, he was channeling like, that sounds like a song I would hear like when a serial killer is like cutting up his already dead bodies, like mutilating the bodies or something. And it just didn't really sit well. And they sent him through, and whatever. He better not make the top 24. And just as a quick side note, there were 15 golden ticket recipients on the second night. The other person I would revoke their ticket was Lee Jean, and they really kind of hyped him up as this like kid that was going to be like a star and everything like that. He's 15. He had a lot of siblings. He had a brother who passed and everything like that. And I was like, well, maybe he'll be kind of cute and cool and, give me something I haven't seen. And he sang I See Fire by Ed Sheeran. And I wasn't impressed. He started a cappella. I think he had a nice voice, but I heard some pitch problems to my ears, and maybe, because I'm not a musician, I'm not like, I'll use the term instrumentalist. I don't play an instrument, so maybe I'm off with this, but it sounded like he was a little bit off the rhythm when he was singing. No, actually, the playing kind of sounded off the rhythm or whatever. I don't know. I wanted to like him, but I just didn't. He kind of reminded me of the Black Daniel Stevie. And I'm pretty almost certain that this little boy is probably going to make the top 24 at the expense of, some other probably more deserving people. So, I mean, I'm hoping that he can give me something different in Hollywood Week, but I maybe would have sent him home and been like, you can go audition for The Voice. I don't know what else to say. You can't come back next year to Idol. And then the other person was Josiah. I kind of barely remember him, so that's one of the reasons why he's on there. He was like old school country, and I think he could sing some really low notes. And the only thing interesting about him was that he could sing low notes. It's not like there wasn't country singers that could do that. Like Scotty McCreery had a really low voice, so that's not original to me, And some people that I didn't really feel was Genevieve Chainsaw. She sang a song called Chainsaw. She lived in Elk Wilderness. Yeah, I didn't get that. Rihanna, the female cop. It was just a little bit too much dominatrix going on with that whole thing with Harry, and that completely overshadowed her audition and her voice. The whole bit with the husband and the wife, that was like a hot mess because the husband was such a much better singer, and the wife tried to blame it on him. You were making the baby dance while I was singing. Like, girl, it doesn't matter if he was in there or not. You just weren't good enough. Like, she was really trying to blame it on him and the baby. I was like, what in the world? And I was highly upset about the segment with babies because I auditioned this past year while I was pregnant, and I could have been one of the people that had my baby on there. So I was really upset about that. And they don't do segments like this a lot, like the baby segments. And I was just like really pissed off about that. Like, they could have I auditioned when I was like 6 months pregnant. Yes, I did. I went right to that audition in Baltimore. I would have went to the one in Philly, but I had my baby the very next day after that audition. So that wasn't going to work. But I should have been on the show. And there was somebody else. Oh, that hot mess of a girl. Oh, the one that kept apologizing for everything. She had a nice voice, but her always apologizing for everything, that really turned me off. Like, I did not like that. I don't know. Like, I feel like she's going to fall apart, like, in the group rounds or something like that and just not make it out alive. So, that was her. And I just wanted to give a little tidbit about that one girl who talked back to Keith and was like, said something about, you don't know about country or something. I don't know what she said, but she dug a hole for herself, and she never really sang like more than 2 lines of a song. And there was a girl on night 2 that talked a whole lot. That was her, and she didn't make it through, thank God. And Harry was actually going to let her go through. Harry, of all people, he's crazy. And then on night 1, it was a girl who talked a whole lot, and she was like real country, and she like yodeled, and she didn't even yodel right. And it was a hot mess. So I just wanted to talk about, a couple of those train wrecks there. But that was the recap. But I did just want to give you some information in reference to the schedules for American Idol. The auditions will conclude Thursday, January 21st. Hollywood Week is going to be Wednesday, January 27th through Thursday, February 4th, and that is when the top 24 will be revealed. And then there will be the semi-final rounds from February 10th through February 25th. And February 25th is when the top 10 will be announced and they will perform. And then and that's when the finalist voting starts. And then from March 3rd to April 7th is the finals. So Idol is ending a lot earlier this season than it has in previous seasons. Usually it goes through May, and this time it's going to be over in like the beginning of April, which is really odd, but it did start a little bit earlier than usual. So I hope they don't try to like rush through it, and I really hope that, they don't do eliminations like they did last year. I hope they let everybody perform and then send somebody home. I don't ever want there to be a week where somebody doesn't get to perform. So we'll see how it all pans out. And this week they did do auditions in Denver, Atlanta, San Francisco, and Little Rock. And next week they're going to be showing auditions in Philly and Denver and Little Rock again. So a continuation of that. So I'm interested in the Philly auditions because Ryan made it seem like Philly wasn't bringing it. And there's talent in Philly. And if they would have picked me, I would have been one of those people. So, we'll see. But until next week, see ya.